The Consulting Success podcast is powered by the Clarity Coaching Program. If you'd like to work directly with the Consulting Success team and receive personal coaching and support to optimize and grow your consulting business, marketing, and revenue, visit consultingsuccess.com to find out more and apply.
Welcome to the Consulting Success Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Zipursky. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into the world of elite consultants, where you'll learn the strategies, tactics, and mindset to grow a highly profitable and successful consulting business.
Or an important consideration for you is what are the tasks or the activities or the areas where you create the most value. And if you are noticing that you're spending a lot of time on things that are lower value tasks, then that's a really important indication for you, a sign, a signal for you that you need to look to delegate, that you need to bring on a team. As a consultant, you might be wondering at times, or maybe been thinking about this quite a bit, but when should you build a team? Or when should you add to your team? One of the indications is that you feel overwhelmed, that you are constantly asking yourself, how do I create more time in the day? Or I know I should be doing these things like working on your marketing and getting in front of ideal clients, but I just don't have enough time in the day to do it. I'm so busy delivering on existing client projects. I just feel like I'm being stretched and pulled in all these different directions, right? What should I do? Well, that's a very clear indication that you should be thinking about building a team or your team. And to make one distinction here, I'm not referring that you need to go out and hire a whole bunch of people full time. But what you want to do is you want to identify what are all the aspects, all the different activities, the tasks, the components of running your business that you yourself should not be doing. And this is something that you don't need to be focused on when you're just getting started. If you aren't yet working with existing clients, you don't have a full pipeline, don't worry about your team right now, right? Don't worry about having the best systems and the best processes right off the bat. If you're at the early stages, focus on your marketing, focus on getting in front of your ideal clients, focus on your messaging, right? The foundations of building a successful business. And as you do that, and as you start to generate more revenue and you're moving things forward, you have a nice pipeline of business, then that's a great time for you to start thinking more about systems, more about processes, and more about building team, more about delegation. But if you don't have business or work yet, then there's no point thinking about how to delegate that because you're playing in theoreticals. You want to be focused on generating business, growing revenue initially, and then move to that next stage of systems and team and delegation. But let's now say that you are at that point where you have a pipeline, you have existing clients and projects, things are going well, but you are feeling stretched and you're not kind of feeling like you're in the right place. It's just like things aren't operating the way you'd like them. Maybe you even feel stress, anxiety, overwhelm. Well, the first thing that you want to do is then get clear on what are all the activities that are required for the business to operate. And then make a list and identify which are those activities that you yourself need to do, and another list as to which are the activities that other people can do. An indication of this, or an important consideration for you, is what are the tasks or the activities or the areas where you create the most value. And if you are noticing that you're spending a lot of time on things that are lower value tasks, then that's a really important indication for you, a sign, a signal for you that you need to look to delegate, that you need to bring on a team. And that team might be contractors or freelancers or some type of service that you pay for, or it might be a full-time person that you bring on, or many people. But the idea is really to get clear on how can you shift more and more of those lower value tasks to others. And when I say a low value task, I'm not referring to that it's a meaningless task or that somehow the person that is going to be doing that task is a lower value person than you are, or a less important person, or something along those lines. No, it's simply about finding what are the areas where you yourself can create the highest value for your business, that you enjoy, that you want to do more of, that you're really good at, right? And that are also important for the business. And then focusing on those, right? Because as a business owner, and this is important because many consultants think that they have a business, but they are just focused on delivery, right? They're consultants or essentially contractors that work with maybe one or two clients, but they don't have a business. If you want to have a business, right? If you want to grow a successful consulting business, you need to operate, you need to think as a consulting business owner. And to do that, it's important then that you recognize that there are certain things that are lower value that other people can do better than you can, or that you yourself just should not be spending your time on them. And so you either want to delete those things or you want to delegate those things, and then go off and start building your team. And when you think about building your team, you can start with the easier things to delegate. You can find people that can help you to manage, whether it's your social media, even want to have a social media presence, or maybe it's you have a podcast and right now you are recording and getting the guests and editing and doing the production and the promotion. Well, these are things that you can break down and you can find people to help you with each of those elements so that you only have to jump on and do your podcast. And I remember that's the situation that I was in years ago when we started the Consulting Success podcast. I felt like I was doing a lot of things and it was not the best use of my time. And so when we kind of relaunched the podcast the second time around, one of the conditions I remember saying to Sam, listen, I want to do this. I really enjoy interviewing people and I know that it could be beneficial for the business, but I will only do this if we have a system set up so that I can just jump on and then have that conversation, right? Do the interview with the guest, but everything else needs to be taken care of. And so by putting that kind of decision in place, that's exactly what we did. And so now I'm able to focus on where I can create the highest value, which is interviewing guests, asking questions, right? Trying to extract their knowledge so I can share it with you and others in the Consulting Success community. But all the other pieces I'm not focused on. And so this can be applied to every aspect of your business, whether it's certain aspects around delivery or certain aspects around marketing or around content creation or around whatever, right? Operations, you name it. But you can start with things that are easier to delegate first. Don't go off and say to yourself, oh yeah, I heard about this delegation thing and team building. I'm going to find somebody that can just, run sales for us, but not be committed to that. Because as you bring in people for areas that are more meaningful for your business or bigger areas, like someone that's actually going to deliver and interact with your clients or someone that's going to actually go out there and run your sales process. These are areas that will require a lot of your time and training up front to get that person up to speed. So it's an investment that you're going to be making in time, energy, and money. But there's a lot of things that won't actually require a lot of your time and involvement or a lot of training. Things that are just lower barrier, right? Easier to kind of manage tasks. But right now, you yourself are spending that time and that's low value. Therefore, it's taking you away from spending more time on the things that are true value creators. So my suggestion for most people, not all, is, because I don't know your specific situation, right? But for most people, it's to start with those lower value tasks that are easier to delegate, get those off of your plate, allowing you to spend more time on high value activities. And then from there, you can continue to build team and get the right infrastructure around you. None of this has to require a ton of money or a massive investment, right? You can do this in a very conscious way, in a very profitable way. But making this shift and thinking about team will really help you to grow, because you'll be able to spend your time doing the things that support growth the most and that you enjoy the most, while making sure that everything else that actually is required in the business is happening, but it's not relying all on you. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stretched, if you're feeling like you've kind of hit capacity, well, one way to get beyond that, right, is to get clear on what are the things that you yourself don't have to do in the business that others can do, and then find those people to help you with it. The moment that you do that and put it in place, you will start to feel real kind of liberation, right? You'll start to feel a lot more freedom. It's not without some headaches, it's not without some time and some investment and training and all those things, but you'll look back and go like, wow, that was so worth it that I did this, because now I have a system, I have a team, I have other people that are helping me to run this business or are playing a role in it. It's not all up to myself. And that's really freeing, right? That's really powerful. That's how you create real meaningful growth and a lot more value for your business. Be sure to hit the subscribe button or follow so that you get notified when we post new videos, new insights, new best practices to help you to grow your consulting business.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Success Podcast. For more episodes and to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, head on over to iTunes. And if you'd like to develop consistent lead flow and a highly profitable consulting business, learn more about our coaching programs at consultingsuccess.com.